Welcome to RebelsCast. My name is Jonathan, and joining me as always is Nicki.
Hey guys.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Cool stuff. Yeah, so we're back, and we're going to talk a couple episodes. We're going to talk Always Two There Are and Brothers of the Broken Horn.
Yep. It is a twofer today.
Yeah, like last time.
Yep.
Okay, so I can hear a lot of... What's that?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Just hearing a lot of rattling.
Oh, maybe it's my paper.
Oh, okay. Okay.
With my notes.
I see.
I'm a note taker.
Yeah, I hear you. Alright, so Always Two There Are. I mean, we knew, okay, this is definitely a good chance that we're going to get, like, some dark side, because we always thought, always two there are. That always involves the Sith.
Exactly. Yoda's words come to fruition. There's always a master and an apprentice, but this case didn't mean exactly that.
Right. So we open up, we get all the cool shuttles, the Tantive 4 like models.
The Rebel Blockade Runner.
Right.
The name of the ship, also known as a Corellian Corvette.
Right.
For those of you who grew up in my era.
Right. So we do get a little not Sabak, but what's the game called again?
I can never remember. It starts with a D. It's like basically hologram chess.
Right.
But the word always escapes me. I do know it though.
Right.
If you said it, I would say yes. That's it.
Dejaric. Yeah.
Yes. God, I'm good. I'm such a nerd.
Yes.
Yeah, I love the A New Hope homage. It was like nobody was saying let Zeb win.
Right.
I think it'd be more dangerous if you didn't let Rex win.
Right. So we do get a little bit of Kanan kind of like, okay, lift, chop her up, and of course they always like to just joke around with Ezra, playing with his Force stuff.
Right.
And that's when Sabine tells him to lock his wheels. And yeah. I think that's an interesting thing. It's kind of funny, and he says, oh, this is not fair, but he said, battles rarely are.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought, it was like both reminiscent of Luke trying to lift R2 and in Empire, and then he had no one there to mess with him. And we didn't know that droids could lock their wheels.
Right.
But yeah, the whole Kanan Rex dynamic is I think starting to get to everybody on the Phantom or on the Ghost, because everybody kind of leaves the room when they start arguing.
Right.
Which is lots of fun.
And I have the Jedi, and Rex says the Jedi General I served combined the Force with his wits, and it made him a great warrior.
No. Every time he says the Jedi General I served, I just go, you're in for a really big shock.
Yeah.
The Jedi General you serve is kind of the bad guy now.
Right.
But, he has a point. I mean, Anakin, I think because he was trained so late, according to Jedi, training, he was 9. He did have to survive on Tatooine using his wits. He was a pod racer, and he kind of was a little scam artist in some respects. But Kanan didn't have to do that. So Anakin was able to use both, I think, because both were pretty well developed. But Kanan was just trained as a Jedi. So I don't think he understands the benefit of both quite yet. But then you have Luke, who was fully raised and an adult before he started training, and he was able to use it too.
Right. Got a little cold.
Yep.
Yeah, I hear you. It's that time of year.
I think it's mostly allergies.
Oh yeah,
So also that time of year.
right. So of course we know that there was this kind of rivalry between Rex and Kanan. You know, them kind of butting heads.
Yeah.
So of course they talk about discipline, and Rex says, you know, you need to be a soldier to have discipline. You know, you need to train as a soldier. Then Kanan's like, you know, a Jedi takes much more discipline, and you know, that just kind of brings up the whole like, you know, talking.
Hmm.
You know, all talk, not fighting. You know, and so I thought that was interesting. We do, you know, like Captain Wits, you know, and just them arguing, and then of course we get it at the next episode as well. So I definitely look forward to the continue of them arguing.
Yeah, I think that they both have their. I mean, I think they both have their point of view, and I think they're both right. It's just nothing is one or the other. You know, only a Sith speaks in absolutes.
Right. So the point really of this episode is that they need to get some medical supplies, and of course part of the ghost's job is salvaging, not just helping other people, but salvaging um, other stuff, you know. And of course, this we find out is um, a medical station.
Right. It was abandoned after the end of the Clone Wars, and I was looking at this as they were inside, and I was like, that looks like it's been abandoned far longer, but it made it look really cool. I was like, it hasn't been that long since the
Right.
end of the Clone Wars, but I did absolutely love the sequence where they're flying up to the medical center. I just thought that was so beautifully done, and it just looked really cool. It gave you a real sense of the scope of this medical center and how big it was. I was like, God, they keep blowing me away with their animation.
Right. One thing I accidentally skipped over was that Kanan says is that Ezra's got to learn to stay in the moment, be present. So I guess that's kind of what Qui-Gon said versus
Yep.
what Yoda said to think, be mindful of the future. So I thought that was interesting. Just kind of a change, different philosophies of the Force.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. It's like, well, yeah, wait, but Yoda's, but I think, every Jedi is different. They might have things that they think are more important or things that work for them. But always be mindful of the future.
Yes. Um, so of course we knew that the Rex and we still don't really know what happened to Rex's two friends, two
Oh,
clone
Bridger
buddies,
and yeah,
and a wolf.
I just assume that they're with the rebels.
Yeah, same here.
I don't think they're still, on their planet. I don't think there's anything left for them there. I think that they're probably on the rebel ship helping out or, with the rebellion.
Right. So of course we know that Rex is providing lots of information, and we know one of the things is codes. To get into to access different things.
It's an older code, sir, but it checks out.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it was such a cool way to fly into that docking bay.
Right. And of course, we know that Ezra is now learning how to speak droid or speak chopper. When unfortunately, Zeb still is clueless.
That's kind of like Luke. Luke eventually was able to understand R2. So you just either use the Force or you just figure out what the bells and whistles mean.
Right. So Sabine, she draws like she spray paints her symbol.
Yeah, Tagger's got a tag.
Um, one time she actually drew a rebel symbol.
Yeah, it was very similar. It was like what the rebel symbol evolved from or something. This one still had that that look about it. Still had the same basic shape. It was more like a phoenix or a
Right.
bird, but it still has the same basic where it was like, yep, that's gonna be the rebel symbol someday.
Yeah, it looks like the combination of another symbol as well.
Yeah. It looks like a little like the Jedi symbol.
Yeah.
It's got elements of that. And maybe she's influenced by that. But yeah, as soon as she started tagging, I was like, yep, she's got to do it wherever she goes. That's awesome.
Right.
That's my girl.
Yeah. Another thing is that we see these like probe droids. You know,
They were
I mean, they're
they were
sort of probe droid. They're
they're
like,
sort of pro droids. They were just creepy. I mean,
yeah,
it was like bugs or something. They were just kind of hovering, and I was just like, oh, this is not good. I don't think these were here when they shut down the medical center.
no. Um, you know, so this woman, and I have some speculation who this woman is, but I'm not sure.
Oh, the new,
One of the new Inquisitors.
yeah,
So you know, so the command center it looked decent from the outside, but from the when they get in the inside, it's just total wreck.
yeah. And then Chopper has to light up the entire station.
Oh yes, powered up, you know, and it's just like, of
Never
course,
does anything halfway, does he?
no, no, and he's like, you didn't mean to do the whole, I didn't mean the whole thing,
Just this panel.
you know, and I'm still surprised, you know, like one droid is just able to just power up this full station, even if it hasn't been used in a while.
Well, R2 could do stuff like that too.
Yeah, but he's
It's
not
like they,
R2.
no, no. And as much as we love Chopper, he's never going to be R2.
No.
I did love his little Chopper tantrums, though.
So Agent Callus is back.
Yes.
So I guess they didn't just leave him behind because he a failure. They went back for him.
Yeah, he managed to worm his way back onto a Star Destroyer and is very dismissive of everybody and very patronizing.
Right.
I love
And
it.
yes, sideburns.
Oh,
And of course he refers to the Force users as these mystics. Or no wait, that's the Admiral, right?
yeah, that's the Admiral.
You know, we don't. These mystics are unnecessary. So I think that's everyone kind of refers to these Force users. You know, in A New Hope they say sorceress ways.
Yeah, Admiral or Moff Gerard, who ended up choking,
Right.
is the sorcerer's ways, and then even Han referred to them as, ancient religion, and
And
so I think, well, this, that the bad guys are not going to have a positive view of the Force, even though, they're both heads of the Empire, the Emperor and Vader are Force users. It's like because of the Jedi, the Force has a bad name.
right. These mystics are unnecessary. You
Yeah.
know. Um,
But, Callus is appropriately, patronizing about the Force and about Jedi, so.
right.
But that Inquisitor, he still gives me the creeps.
Yes.
That new guy, he's like a black crayon.
Do we have a name for him?
Nope.
Okay.
Not that I could find. If somebody has it, let me know.
Okay. Um, so of course, like I think there was an episode like this, an episode or somewhere in the movies where it's like, oh no, I'll take care of it. Um, we don't need this whole ship. I'm a Force user. I'll go take care of it.
Right. I'm trying
Um,
to think of maybe something in Clone Wars, but I don't remember anything. The only thing I could think of is when Vader takes the TIE fighters uh to be in the on the Death Star in the pit, in the ditch.
or it's like, I need to face him alone. When he talks
Yeah.
about Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
not
this is me. I need to do this kind of thing. But I think the Inquisitor is just like, you guys all just get in my way.
right.
Just, I don't need you all. I can do this. I'm better than all of you. And I can handle this. So just go away, puny insects. I'm a big black crayon. I'm gonna handle this.
And of course, Callus says one of your disturbances, I assume.
Yeah.
That's it.
Again, patronizing about the Force.
I sense a disturbance in the Force.
Yeah. It's a good thing, though.
Right. Um. Okay. So so I should go alone. Let's see. I always find it fascinating how techy Sabine is, and
hmm
Ezra has kind of been. She's combat ready. She's combat expert, tech expert. So I think that's always cool. All this sciencey stuff she spouts out. All this computer
Yeah.
stuff she spouts out.
Yeah, I foresee a great future for her within the rebellion.
Yes.
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, I also want to get into a little bit of Ezra and and not Sabine and Ezra and Zeb's. Oh yeah, side note, I did get to meet Steve Bloom. He's a great guy, and I went to his one of his Q&A. This was at Anime USA because he plays a bunch of anime characters, and
Oh, okay.
his most notable, his most famous role is as Spike Spiegel in Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, I did not know he was. I know I'd never watched Cowboy Bebop, but I know who Spike is. So
Yeah, and that's and
who
that's
doesn't?
and that's really his normal voice. So all the because of course he voices all the stormtroopers
Right.
and the minor imperial officers and such. He's a great guy, and it's just still amazing how he makes Zeb's
Yeah.
voice. So
Yeah. I'm always just in awe of voiceover actors. I think that they're not given enough credit, even though they are some of the best paid actors. Um, but it was revealed. But yeah, I mean, I've heard his real voice, and then you see him, then it's like you hear all the other voices. It's not like, I mean, as much as I just worship H. John Benjamin, you could kind of always tell when it's him, even if he
mhm.
modulates it a little bit or changes his pitch. You could kind of always tell it's him. But with Steve, it's like, no, he's kind of like John DiMaggio,
Right,
who is also a genius at voiceover, or Maurice LaMarche, like who used to do lots of stuff back in the 90s.
right, right. And of course Zeb is still like, once you use those Jedi mind powers, everyone just loves to mock him, and of course he just loves to say, use those Jedi mind powers, and it's kind of a mirror image of what we just saw
Right.
about a more dark side kind of thing, but it's still kind of the same thing, disturbances, mystic things.
Right.
So
And it's kind of like, yeah, yeah, why don't you use your superpowers, and get us out of here? Uh, but it's also, I kind of took it as, yeah, he's kind of taking a dig at him, but he's also like, well, if it works, Zeb's like, well, maybe it'll work if he uses his mind powers, we'll be out of here faster. Like, so I
yeah,
think that there's a level of respect from Zeb, and kind of like, yeah, let's just get the job done. If your Jedi powers are gonna help, let's do it. But then there's also the, you think you're a Jedi kind of thing.
right. Sabine doesn't really care. She's always kind of the cranky one when it comes to Ezra annoying her, and then you throw in Zeb and the older brother younger brother thing, and they
She rolls her
race,
eyes.
just like siblings do, they race each other, and
Right.
just like
Ev-
them, they race each other.
Everything's a competition. And Sabine's like, I don't care as long as you get the medical equipment.
Right.
It's kind of like she's rolling her eyes, going, "Oh my God, boys."
And
Because
and
Zeb is a little on the immature side when he's acting that way.
right. I thought they run past a medical thing or like some kind of crate because
Yeah, he let Ezra push a crate onto Zeb.
but I could have sworn there was another one like in a room because they focused on it for a few, like a second or so, but I could have sworn we saw another that had the same Imperial symbol on it. So maybe it wasn't medical, it was just some other Imperial crate. It was just kind of weird that there was one like in a room, not the crates
Yeah,
knocked over. I just
not the crates they were looking for. It's possible because eventually they did find them, that they realized one of them was, and when it has the when it has the old Republic symbol on it, which now we know, which the Empire appropriated. But it's possible that that was there. I didn't notice it. I watched it like 3 times, but it wasn't something that stuck out. So if you caught that, that's awesome.
yeah. Um, and of course, I love how they kind of bring up things, that's not fair, and then Ezra says fights rarely are.
He's
Keep your
learning.
keep your head down, you won't get hit, and then of course he runs into something and bang,
Yep.
and CB doesn't say like, oh, are you okay? She just said you were saying.
Yeah, I like that moment. I think I'm Sabine in a lot of ways. It's like, yeah, and your point.
Right. So then we finally get another Inquisitor. I know we saw her in I'm pretty sure we saw her in the trailers, right? The Rebels
Yeah, we saw
trailers.
we saw the with the mask down, but it was very brief, and we didn't really get a good idea of who she was. We just knew she was an Inquisitor.
Right.
And I just gotta say, her lightsaber is awesome.
Yeah, and it's the same as the last Inquisitor.
Yeah, the Grand Inquisitor, who I
Yes.
miss. I'm gonna miss him so much.
Yeah.
But it looks like the training lightsabers that they used to sell, um, with the circular part that holds the two ends.
Yeah, so I'm guessing Vader, when he gets an Inquisitor, he finds a Force user or such, or the Emperor does, and I guess these things are made in mass. They're not like made with the crystals or anything. They're just kind of
Well, the
made,
only thing, yeah, I think the only thing I think of is they're still made with the crystals, but they don't have to build them themselves like the Jedi do.
right. They just have, I mean, I think they said that, like red crystals aren't found in the caves, but rather when you make them yourself, it automatically turns red or something. I heard that somewhere. Maybe that's Legends now.
Well,
Um,
yeah, there is a in the guide to weapons, they do talk about the crystals, and they don't mention that, but it's very possible that they've changed things up a little bit. Mostly as you choose the color crystal you want, and then as you're building your lightsaber. But
like I think this might be
it's
like I think these might be artificial
I
crystals.
I can expect that from a Sith, is that they wouldn't do the full Jedi training mode.
Yeah, of course we could go down this road with Luke making his own lightsaber in that deleted scene, but that's a whole other rabbit hole. We
Yeah,
we could spend an hour discussing lightsabers and the different types.
exactly.
So I love how she treats these little droids like pets. That's very
hmm
cool.
They're like her little there's like Maleficent's raven. It's like, hello, hello, my pretties.
Right.
She's very, I really like the design on her. She's very spider-like, and even though I'm severely arachnophobic, I really kind of liked how menacing and creepy and kind of like I think of real spiders. She was, and just the way she moved was just very, arachnid-like. So, I really like her design.
Yeah, same.
Not
Uh,
usually a big fan of the woman who does her voice, but oh well.
yeah. Um, okay, so, such a noble act, and of course he kind of, throws Sabine. I mean, force pushes her, and just like, or didn't no? Does he force push her? No, he doesn't. He closes the door. He
Yeah,
burns the door thing off, and then that's how it um leaves her, separated from him.
right.
Such a noble act.
Yeah, when they go to rescue Chopper, who's sent out of distress, and because those little bugs were crawling all over him.
Right.
Of course, he's gonna save Sabine. She's his friend, and he's got the hots for her. And it's what Ezra would do, is to protect everybody else and take on the danger himself.
Right. So that's when we get a another Inquisitor, the one we saw at the beginning.
The big black crayon.
Yes, Black
He looks
Crayon.
like he looks like a crayon. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then
Uh,
but she seems to be in charge.
right. And I mean, what I got from it is that somehow they like she got like the same message that there was something going on at this station. At least that's what I'm assuming. Um,
Yeah, she seemed to be there before they were, though.
yeah, that's true. So I guess just by coincidence.
Or maybe, yeah, or she just kind of lives there.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
possibly. I mean,
Or she
maybe
got there right after, but she seemed to know her way around, but she
maybe
could use the
she's
force.
maybe she lures
Yeah,
people there.
she's a spider. Come into my web, said the spider to the fly.
Right. Um, so that's when, it says, this is my fight, it's just one of those kind of things where it's just, I'm surprised to see you here, and it looks like they might know each other,
Yeah,
you know.
they were in Inquisitor school together, and they didn't get along. He pulled her ponytail too many times.
Yep. Poked her
And
a little too much.
yeah, I do like her when her helmet is after her helmet comes up, that face plate comes up. Her voice is somewhat normal, so it's like, oh, she's kind of got a Vader kind of thing going on with her voice. It's like it just, the mask modulates her voice,
Right.
which I thought was really cool.
I thought it's interesting that they say that they got to be really careful how they send out signals, and that's one thing. They could compromise the fleet if they were to send out distress. So I think that's something to keep in mind. They always have to be careful with communication. That they really needed to do it the old-fashioned way, where you actually have to go there.
Right.
You know?
You don't have to. Yeah. If they sent out a signal that they were in distress, at least part of the fleet would come, or somebody would come and get them, and that puts somebody in danger. So just by signaling their location, they're risking putting the entire rebellion in danger, which is why Ezra and Sabine are like, yeah, no, not gonna do it.
Maybe if they had like some like a space pigeon or something.
A Minoc.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Attach it to their leg.
Space pigeon. I like that. Yeah, that's pretty much the only way to send messages is, with your comms or a holo.
Yeah. So this is when we have Ezra kind of trapped and like you mentioned before, the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah.
So she kind of reminds me, or at least the species of because she says, Ahsoka Tano.
She reminded me a little of Asajj.
She also
Ventress.
reminded me a little bit like an older version of oh my gosh, what is her name? The one that like that framed Ahsoka.
Oh God, I don't remember.
Oh my gosh, this is killing me. I was really hoping you would remember.
No, my Clone Wars memories are not as finely attuned as my other memories. Crap. Somebody tell us. But yeah, she kind of had the face markings of an Asajj Ventress, but Ezra is such a bad liar. That's all I gotta say. It's like, who is Ahsoka Tano? I was like, really? Could be more convincing than that, Ezra.
Right. Oh my gosh, this is gonna kill me. Okay, I'll try to research it. Let's just keep talking. Um. Okay, so a very kind of cool little episode. Um. You know. Lost my train of
Yeah,
thought.
I thought Zeb was so brilliantly smart because he came up with the way to get them out of there.
Okay, Barris.
Barris?
Yeah, it looks. She reminded me. Well, a little bit. Hold on a sec. Let me. Let me look at this. Let's see. Hold on a sec.
Barris Offee.
I guess she doesn't have the same tattoos. No, she doesn't have the same tattoos. It kind of looks similar, but if I'm kind of zooming in, and she does not have the same tattoos.
No, she has the ones across her nose.
Right.
That's
So
what I actually have her figure.
and the voice isn't the same. So
No, but she has the mannerisms and the new Inquisitor. She kind of has the mannerisms of the Asajj Ventress type species.
right. So we're not thinking it's her.
No, it's not Asajj.
Yeah. No, we're not.
Or not Barris Offee, no.
Yeah, I think you're right. It just kind of, and the way she said, "Where's Ahsoka Tano?" I mean, that begs that it's someone, either a former colleague of Ahsoka, or like a fellow Jedi, or that Ahsoka is actually isn't such a secret name among the rebels, that maybe there is some among the Inquisitors, they know who Ahsoka Tano is. So
Right. They could have been told by Vader to watch out for her because he sensed her presence
yeah, it's a possibility.
in that first episode. So it's like, okay, Ahsoka is helping these people, or they're part of the same group as Ahsoka. If we find her, we find the rebellion. And if she knew that, of course, she would go run and hide because she doesn't want to compromise the rebellion. But yeah, Ezra said, where is Ahsoka Tano? And then Ezra going, who's Ahsoka Tano? Like, really?
Yeah.
Okay. That wasn't very convincing. You could do better. But Zeb in his brilliant mind, I don't think he gets enough credit for being smart.
Right. And I thought it was kind of an insult to Zeb, or like, oh yeah, these little probe droids, take him out. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, it's kind of an insult. I mean, they definitely put up a fight, you know.
But
It's
they were very
amazing,
dismissive of all of them. They don't think any of them are worth their time. So, okay, you can have him.
you know. I mean, we've seen droids do I mean, even the next episode, we've seen some pretty crazy things droids do with their different tech, but I'm still kind of surprised. They saw Zeb as so little of a threat that they just send these little. And there must be some name for these. If not, they'll come up with a name
Yeah.
for these little mini probe droids that are like pets, like little
Like
cats.
little.
They're like
Yeah.
droid cats or something. I don't know.
She the new Inquisitor is a crazy droid lady.
Yep.
So I think everybody underestimates Zeb. So they just saw him kind of like as the muscle,
Right.
but he's one smart cookie because he got him out of there. I don't think anyone expected that. Not even Ezra and Sabine.
Right. So, the female inquisitor, she says, why do you compel me to inflict pain? So she's using the force in some way to torture him. I'm not quite. I was a little unclear about that. She wasn't like trying to compel him, because that would be, that wouldn't really work because they're both force users. So somehow she's using pain. She's compelling with pain from a distance. So I'm not quite sure how she's doing that.
Yeah, I don't either. It seemed more like a threat than something than she was actually doing.
She was waving
Um,
her hand. She was like, "Why do you compel me to inflict pain?"
yeah, it's like, here, look what I can do. I'm going to inflict pain, but she hadn't quite gotten it yet because he didn't seem to react to anything.
Really? I thought he was like, it looks like he was groaning.
Oh, maybe he was. Maybe I forgot that part. I just rewatched it, but it's
Yeah.
possible I missed it first. Yeah.
Yeah, because I take little screenshots of the episodes using the computer. Like like the fin print screen. At least that's what it's
hmm
on my keyboard, and I put on the subtitles so I can remember. And there's like, why do you compel me to inflict pain? And then what Ezra says is in parentheses groaning. So
Oh, okay.
that's always
Yeah.
a thing I do.
Well, I'm glad you do that because I do not remember that.
Yeah. He just gets up really close to his face,
Yeah.
you know, and you can't shut. And I think it's interesting whenever like the underdog or the prisoner says, "Just shut. You're a
Just
broken record. Just shut up."
Yeah, yeah. It's like, will you ever stop talking? It's kind of like he was so just either do something or shut up about it. She was quite a talkative one.
Right. Another thing is that who's Ahsoka Tano. So Ezra doesn't really know.
Well,
Um,
he was trying to say, I don't know who Ahsoka Tano is.
but just the way he said it.
Yeah, it was like he was trying to deflect, like to say, I don't know who she is. Who is she? And so he wouldn't have she wouldn't keep trying to force him to give it up. It was like,
Yeah, I mean, for me, the way
uh,
he said it, it sounded like he was surprised.
no, it was more like, oh, yeah, who's Ahsoka Tano? Like, I know who she is, but I'm going to pretend I don't, and I'm going to do it very badly.
Yeah, I mean, most characters will just say, "Who's Ahsoka Tano?" But no,
I don't.
see,
He's not suave like that.
well, I
He
mean, that would be obvious. Though, I mean, the way he said it was convincing to me. Like, who's Ahsoka
No,
Tano?
to me it was like really unconvincing because it was like, where is Ahsoka Tano? Oh, who's Ahsoka Tano? It was just like, I'm going to pretend I don't know who she is, so you'll stop talking and you'll stop questioning me, but I'm not going to be very obvious. I'm not going to be very convincing that I don't know who she is. It was like
So,
he was trying to protect her, but going,
right. So then we have Zeb and Chopper on a little mission together, to
yeah.
try to get them back.
I'm telling you, he's the smart one in the group.
Yeah. What was that?
But was what?
I don't know. That was like sounded like somebody like groaned, like.
No,
That's a sound I have not heard ever on this on I think ever podcast, and that was a very odd sound. Anyway,
Okay. I didn't hear it, and there's nothing going on in the room, so
okay, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm hearing things.
you are.
Oh, okay. Now I feel bad. Anyway, anyway, so um, then they start like kind of faking Commander Melderon.
Which
Um,
which you don't know because it's through the comms. They think it's really, I mean, we all believe that it's really, the rebellion who are like, we'll come and get you. And it really wasn't until the second time I watched it that I was like, yeah, that is Zeb's voice. But
yeah, I
it was
think.
it was convincing enough to convince even Sabine and Ezra that the rebels were coming.
Oh, you know
But
what? I thought it was. I thought it was Zeb the first time, and I thought they were just going along with it. But it looks like they weren't
they
really.
really thought, yeah, uh, they really thought it was the commander, maybe just one they weren't that familiar with or something. And because the comms make your voice sound a little bit different, so I didn't even think it was Zeb, but it was. And keep your chin up, and that just really got to Ezra. He was like, "Keep your chin up. What is that supposed to mean?" And then chin up, and then he looked up, and there's Zeb hanging upside down.
Yeah, and I think it's another interesting thing to point out that Kanan said. No, I mean Ezra says yes. We'll bring you Kanan and Ahsoka.
Yeah.
We can use some help, and you know, just kind of spilling the beans because we have these characters that just are afraid they're gonna hurt another character.
Yeah,
And it's just
exactly.
I thought I thought it was funny how like Zeb was just like waving his hands, hey.
Hey, it's me. Keep your head up. Keep your chin up. I thought, yeah, I was like, yep, he's the smart one.
Yep, and then them trying to get away, and oh yeah, of course Ezra was never really supposed to go on this mission, was he?
No, he was just like, I have to get away from all the fighting.
So you'd rather
Mom,
fight instead of
Dad and Dad are at it again.
yeah.
Ezra has two dads, and he was just like, let me get me out of here. So, which we see in the next episode also.
Yep.
So, not one to go and sit and meditate and contemplate. He just like, I have to get off the ship.
Yeah, Ezra has two masters, it seems.
Yeah, yes, exactly. But you know what? If he hadn't been there, Sabine and Zeb might have been killed or taken prisoner, or anything could have happened. So it was a good thing he went.
Right.
And it's a good thing they had Zeb to be the smart one and get them out of there. I did think it was really cool that both Inquisitors like were using their force powers to hold uh the Phantom. It was like, nope, not going anywhere. I just
Right.
thought that was such a cool sequence.
So we kind of end, he's like, Ezra thinks that Kanan actually knows. I mean, he assumed that Kanan knows. Oh, why didn't you tell us about the other Inquisitors? But I was kind of not surprised that he says, yeah, I didn't really know, because I
Yeah.
think because this Inquisitor thing, it's not like it's on every billboard or something, you
Right.
know?
He didn't really know about the Inquisitors until they met
I mean, that's the
the
whole
Grand the,
point of
the Grand Inquisitors. Their secret.
yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of these Inquisitors.
Right. And
Is
I think they didn't think that there would be one to take the place of the one that they killed, because the look on his face was like he was really shaken up by that. I think they thought they were safe from the Inquisitors now, but no. He's like, I thought we took care of this, but now there's two. It's like Hydra. You cut off one head, two more grow.
take its place.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I look forward to if we're gonna actually get a straight answer from Ahsoka. But we of course we assume we're gonna use Ahsoka and like, I don't know when we'll get her again. I mean,
Yeah. So I think they're very smart in not trying to rely too much on the characters like from the Clone Wars, like Ahsoka, because they could very easily bring her in and it could become Clone Wars again.
right,
Where she's one of the main characters. I think her role in the rebellion, she has to stay hidden. She has to stay, secreted away because she is a Jedi, and Jedi are all supposed to be dead.
right. Yeah, so, and we're not really sure what Rex is going to be doing. You know, he's still in the next episode with the ghost, just kind of, I guess we just go ahead and get into the next episode.
Yeah, jump
Um,
right into Brothers of the Broken Horn.
yep, another cool little episode. Um,
We get to see a couple characters in this episode we haven't seen for a while.
yeah,
Later on,
yeah,
later on.
I love I love that, that the shuttle or whatever that's flying over the city. Great animation there. Really looks
Yes.
really really nice.
Yeah, I'm constantly impressed by the level of animation.
Yeah, and they've been doing more and more impressive stuff since
Right, more showing more scope and more dynamics, I think is really really cool.
because the beginning of the show it was more of just like a lot of fields and stuff. It seemed like.
Yeah, because we're on Lothal and there wasn't a whole lot of stuff done in space, but now that we're off Lothal and we're mostly, flying around, uh I think the level of animation the animation has changed because your background changes.
Yeah. Um. You know. So I love Chopper. Of course, is just kind of messing around. Not really he's helping out. I thought it's interesting that he loves just messing around. But when he needs people to help him, when he needs him to help, he's there to help, and he's just kind of like running around with a stormtrooper, a bucket.
Yeah, from his days at the academy, at the training.
And, it looks
The,
like Rex is starting to kind of fit in here in this group. So I don't know. I mean, is he going to become an official part of the crew? Is he going to go to places with them and stuff? I'm not quite sure.
I'm all for it. I think maybe he'll eventually bow out because again, you don't want to rely too much on the Clone Wars. But I think he'll stay a part of the rebellion.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense for him to be with Ahsoka since they know each other so well.
Right, they're old friends, and I think once it's revealed who Darth Vader really is, they're gonna need each other a lot. They're gonna probably be the only two uh, who can understand and who would feel that betrayed.
Right. Yeah, I definitely look forward to that episode.
Oh, me too. I hope it happens this season. It better happen this season.
Probably near the end.
Yeah, of course. But I don't want a confrontation like with Obi-Wan in A New Hope, where it's like I just like Ahsoka very clearly is disturbed by something she felt when they encountered Vader's presence, and I think she's still trying to figure out what's going on.
Right. And of course Rex and Kanan are having their like conflict. You gotta be as a soldier, you gotta prioritize to learn blasters, and then as a Jedi, he's a Jedi, so it's like, Ezra's kind of torn between these two worlds.
Yeah,
But of course he's a Jedi, so he has to make that a priority. But he still feels like he's part of the rebellion, so he needs to learn some blaster training. So
exactly. So, and then it's like you've got blaster training, and you've got lightsaber training, you've got force training, and you've got, duties that you have around the ship. And he's only 15 years old. Let's give him a small break here.
right. So this is when they find out about their mission. The settlements to power the heaters they need to survive. Because it's a very cold planet.
Right. They need
It's
the generators to produce the heat that they need.
right. So Kanan and Chopper, they start like scrubbing, I suppose, more like
Look more like sandblast, like just
yeah, it looks more like I don't know what you call it. Looks, whatever those things are called.
yeah.
More like welding or something.
Yeah, it's like they're polishing the metal
Right.
in some respect.
Yeah, instead of just like doing at work we have like this metal, we have different cleaners, and the metal one is to clean metal. So it would have been funny if they would have brought out like a spray or something and just started
Some
spraying it,
Windex.
Windex or something like that, and just like wiped it on. Um, so of course Chopper, it's interesting they have like the same tool. I suppose, or at least Chopper is in his self. But I think it's interesting that he's like, yeah, Chopper, you're gonna help him. So both a droid and a human, or a a Jedi apprentice, are doing the same thing. I mean, that's like the
Right.
lowest of the low.
I think it was also like Chopper was kind of doing that. Ha ha, you have to do that, and then they're like, you help him. And I was like, ah, crap.
Right. Excuse me. So then we learn about Vizago's ship sending a distress signal.
Yes, Vizago, who we met last season, is the Devronian.
Right. Um, and of course we know he gave him information, and that's why he's gonna, pay him
He
back.
owes him one. Yeah, he owes him one. He gave him information to help save Kanan. And so he's like, you know what? I gotta get out of here. This guy I owe one to. Let's take care of it. Chopper, let's go.
Right.
And I think Chopper was fine with going because then he didn't have to finish cleaning the ship.
Right. So he's just kind of going through the ship, and then he runs into, who do we run into? No.
Hondo Onaka.
So I just knew we had to just jump to here because it's his character design is a little bit different.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he had such a human body, like from the neck down. It was kind of, or he's at least in more human, more regular people garments, yeah.
Yeah.
Versus in his pirate garments were made him look totally different.
Yeah. I think he's having to change up a bit with this new order.
And he lost his whole crew to the Empire. I think, everyone's lost something, even the pirates.
Right. And it's going to take him a while to get back to that. Plus, there's more pirates out there probably now that they're, having the Empire is so clamped down on some things that more pirates are needed to go get the things that people want. So there might be a little more competition.
And you notice his face horns have grown out a bit.
Yeah.
It looks like he usually shaves them off, but
no, he's being a little bit lazy with his upkeep, but I really love him so much. He's so funny. I was like, can we keep him? Can we keep him, please?
Yes.
Sounds like a party going on his ship.
Yeah.
And a nice little reference to, or this little homage to Empire was like, you won the Broken Horn in a Sabbat game.
Yep.
Kind of like Han won the Falcon from Lando.
Yep. I thought that for some reason the droid, not the head, but from like the neck down, reminded me a little bit of the Iron Giant.
Yeah, it did me too. Also kind of like Grievous's Magna droids a little bit.
Right, that too. Because they're very, very flat.
Yeah, very broad at the top, broad shoulders.
Yeah, they could fit inside a crack.
Yeah.
It's very easy to store them.
Yeah.
Stack them up by the handfuls, by the crates, just like stack them on there. I thought it's interesting that I have so many stories I could tell. So many of them true.
I love how we refer to him as the semi-famous Lando Calrissian.
Right. We run into not a Imperial Star Destroyer, but rather some kind of cruiser or some kind of escort ship of some kind.
Yeah, and that has somebody we've met previously on it, whose name I could never pronounce.
Let's see. I did not take a screenshot of it, unfortunately.
It's that pink piggy-looking guy.
Oh, yeah, him. Oh, okay. We're skipping to that. Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that's where we're going.
No, I was talking about the Imperial one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and that's when they start getting fired on. That's when they jump to hyperspace. That's
right. They breached a secure zone.
And we learn about, of course, all these power generators and all this money. It's just, Ezra kind of makes himself come out as a hard bargainer, and he's very witty about that. He comes off as possibly some stuff that Lando would do, so he's very
Right. I think
smart about it.
his streetwiseness came out.
He's kind of like Hondo.
Yep.
Um, let's see, what's next? What else stands out to you about this? What stands out? So we meet the yeah, I can't remember his name either, but I do remember him.
As Morgan.
Oh, okay. So what do you think about this exchange here? I don't
Well,
deal with washed up old relics.
um, I love that he's like, well, Hondo says, let's leave your wife out of this.
Yes.
I was like, oh, that's the ultimate your mama joke.
Yeah.
I love his sense of humor. Um, but yeah, Ezra goes in with his mask down because he's run into as Morgan before, and it did not end well
Right.
For as Morgan. It's like that's not Lando Calrissian. It's like I love, and Hondo's like, this is my very old friend Lando Calrissian.
Yes.
I was like, dude, you met him 2 minutes ago. And it's like trying to make himself seem more important than he is. And it's like, that's not Lando. It's like, this is not Lando. You lied to me. I knew I liked you.
Yes, I like that part.
And, it's like, well, this is what happened. It's like, oh, we kind of screwed this guy over on Lando's farm. Yeah, that
So
happened.
apparently Hondo has a big bounty on him. So it's a little unclear about how they would kill him and be able to show his body off. So I was a little confused. That was a little odd.
Yeah, it's like if you're gonna dump him into deep space,
That's kind of it.
how are you gonna convince anybody that you killed him so you have the bounty, so you can get the
Yeah.
bounty? It's like this. Well, as Morgan's not the brightest knife in the drawer, but
I was thinking that maybe I don't know, like maybe if this platform had some kind of like way to tie him down and then just like put it outside the ship or something, and then
dangle him outside the ship.
and then just bring back the platform. I thought that was kind of a cool thing.
Yeah,
Seeing this platform that could actually go outside and just perhaps.
was still protected a little bit, but I did love when he was being pulled outside. He grabs the credits. He's like, "I'm rich." And then he goes out. He's about to go outside into space. He goes, "I'm dead."
Right. I love the way that Chopper just kind of comes barreling down the hall just with like the two guns. I mean, that was just that was Chopper's one of the best moments I've seen
Yeah,
Chopper have really in this show, to be honest. Just it's just so over the top.
yeah.
It's
And
just
then one of
fun.
them looked like an old school, like one of an Earth pistol. It was like he was just coming in and going for broke, just bang, just firing away on both cylinders. So
Right. So then we get, they finally get away, and oh, that's of course
no,
when Hondo is about to die, and we see like Ezra reaching out with his arm, with his hand, and that's when Hondo's like, oh, and then we know just from that little bit that oh yeah, we're dealing with a Jedi.
yeah. And then Hondo tries to get away. They get back onto the broken horn, and Ezra finds Vizago in a cell.
Right. Um, and I thought that was kind of weird, where it's like at first Ezra said he owed Vizago something, but then he starts like saying, nah, you know what, I'm gonna decide not to help you. So I thought that was a little odd. So Ezra's just very, very. I guess the fact that Vizago lost his ship means he doesn't really need help of anymore or something.
I think it was more like, if you're going to have this attitude, I'm not going to bother to help you. I'm just going to take what I need and be gone.
Right.
But then he's like, no, okay, you can have some of the generators. And then he helped him get his ship back.
Right. So let's see. So that was a cool little battle, trying to all the droids firing and stuff, and there are definitely some BA droids, to be honest. I could definitely like them to be in my arsenal.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind having a couple of those around.
So that's when, of course, when Hondo takes the Phantom and such.
With the generators, and he thinks he's going to escape.
Right. And I guess I didn't realize. I guess I didn't notice that they had already gone back to the planet. I guess that was a little.
Yeah, it wasn't really that clear that they made it back onto the Broken Horn. They just
Yeah,
kind of
because
appeared.
I mean, because the Phantom doesn't really have hyperspace as far as we know, right?
Right.
Um, so that was a
No,
little.
no, I think it does. I think we've seen it go to hyperspace before when it was separated from the ghost.
Oh, okay, never mind.
But we
Um,
did not see them get back to the Broken. I don't remember seeing them get back to the Broken Horn. But
yeah. Um, yeah. So, and of course, that's when they're in the escape pod, and they say, "Yeah, I know where he's going." So at some point, Chopper turned the thing on autopilot.
yeah, and it was like going back to the ghost.
That was a little surprising seeing Hondo just hanging out with the crew of the Ghost. So that was just
Nobody really comfortable with the situation except for Hondo. Everybody
right.
else was kind of like, "What's this guy doing here?
Yeah, who is this guy?
Why does he have the Phantom and a bunch of generators?"
Right. So I guess Ezra kind of learns a lesson from this that he used to be like Hondo, out for
Right.
himself, and then at the beginning, of course, of this episode, he kind of said how he liked the or wait,
He
was it?
miss.
Yeah, he
It was
misses
the
the old.
beginning. He
Yeah,
misses his old life.
and of course when he's talking to Hondo earlier, he's like, and Hondo's like, yeah, you got a lot of responsibilities, you could stay with me, be a pirate hunter. So it's kind of I feel like we've seen like a movie or something that's kind of like this where someone is kind of like, yeah, you know what, maybe I'll join this, but you know what, I still remember I have this family.
Yeah, it's
That,
the grass is always greener kind of thing. It's like, oh, I have too many responsibilities. Maybe if I just do this thing, and then you do that thing, you find out it's not what you wanted, and you really want to be back. So I think he needed a break just to kind of reaffirm that this is really what he wants to do. He
right.
wants to work with the rebellion. He wants to be a Jedi.
Yep. So any more final thoughts on either of these episodes?
I just thought they were really great episodes. I look forward to seeing the characters again, especially the two Inquisitors, Spider Woman and Black Crayon, which is what only. And I really hope we get some more Hondo,
Yeah,
and I
same
hope that
here.
he meets the real Lando someday.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And he goes, I met you before. You were much shorter.
Huh. Um, okay, so where can people find us if they want to know what's going on with us?
On Twitter, you can find us at Radio Free Endor. You can find Jonathan at JEBell49er and me at iHeartColson. And on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Free Endor, along with and then you can connect with the Southgate Media Group through us.
Yep. Um, yeah, and of course, lots of stuff, lots of changes going on in the Southgate
Yeah.
Media Group. Let's just say, um, including me and Nicki stepping away from RebelsCast,
Yep.
and we got a couple other great guys stepping up. We won't reveal it yet, but we're pretty sure.
Just you're in good hands, people.
Yeah, you're a good hand. So, and of course, it's not for RebelsCast, but it's for my other podcast as well that we're, trying to see. We already have a great candidate for Radio Free Endor, but we're trying to I'd like to build the team up and maybe, have it more than just a couple people. Maybe do some other kinds of shows. And we got a great guy from the UK who's already sent his audition. So if you want to send in an audition, just send it to radiofreeendor@gmail.com. So I guess we go ahead and end this. Rate us a review on iTunes and send us an email, radiofreeendor@gmail.com. Send in your, your audition, so maybe you get a chance to be on the Southgate Media Group. You never know. Okay, so for the Southgate Media Group and Radio Free Endor, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Nicki.